Well, after really hating Silent House and really wanting a better movie in The Cabin in the Woods, a lot was riding on Chernobyl Diaries. And to be honest, was Chernobyl Diaries good? Yeah, it was actually pretty good. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoy it? No, but was it good? Yeah. Uh, anyway, here we go. What's up, guys? It's all about Mike 18 here with another movie review, and it is finally Memorial Day weekend. Time to relax, time to have fun with family, and another time where I feel Memorial Day weekend is perfect time to go see movies. Now today I was either gonna go see Chernobyl Diaries or Battleship. Well, I decided to go see Chernobyl Diaries today on opening day. I wanted to see how crowded it would be. It really wasn't that crowded at all, really. Like, there had to be like no more than 20 people in the theater. And then I'm going to go see Battleship on Monday. So that review will be coming soon. But here is Chernobyl Diaries. Now, you guys all know how I absolutely hated Silent House. You guys have to check out my movie review. I ripped that movie in half. I hated that movie so much. And then I really didn't like Cabin in the Woods that much. Because it really, it was not what I expected. Let's just put it like that. Kind of boring. So I really wanted Chernobyl Diaries to be good, or else I would have lost my faith in modern day horror writers. I would have, because the last good horror movie I should say, was Paranormal Activity 3 back in October, and that's the last good one I saw. So that's such a shame. So I really wanted a good horror movie, and the guy who directed Paranormal Activity, Oren Peli. He is a producer for this movie, so I knew that it was going to be good in some form. You got the director of Paranormal Activity, so I'm like, yeah, this movie is going to be pretty good. And another reason why I wanted to go see this movie, not only to see a good horror movie for once, the trailer looked awesome, and then when in Transformers Dark in the Moon, you guys remember that, came out in July, Nest went to Chernobyl at the beginning of the movie to find that fuel. They found that fuel rod, and then Optimus fought the driller, Shockwave's driller. And I really liked that setting of Chernobyl. I really did. It was interesting. It was this deserted place. It was completely in ruins from what happened at Chernobyl back in 1986. And I really enjoyed it from that movie. So I told myself, you know what, I really want to go see this movie. It could be pretty interesting to learn more about Chernobyl than I already knew, and to see more of it, because I liked that setting. So that's why I wanted to go see this movie. Anyway, I'm going to get right into the plots, what I usually do, the setting, the characters, what I normally talk about in a movie. And then I am going to give my rating, talk about the rating of this movie, which is rated R, and there we go. There's a movie review of Chernobyl Diaries. Anyway, plot. As for the plot, Chernobyl Diaries had a decent story. I enjoyed it. It was enjoyable. It wasn't the best. Is it Oscar worthy? Absolutely not. No way is it Oscar worthy. But Chernobyl Diaries did have a decent story. Anyway, you got this group of tourists that are traveling around Europe, these young tourists, and they're on their way to Moscow in Russia, when one of the group members he finds this tour guide named Yuri, who will be willing to take them to the site of Pripyat. Now, Pripyat is the city in Ukraine that is right next to the facility known as Chernobyl, and he says he could take them in there with his van. So they set it up as a tour, as he will take them in, where they can tour it, take pictures and everything, and then he's going to take them back. Then they'll go to Moscow the next day. So the group gets in Yuri's van. They head over to Chernobyl. There's one problem where they can't get into Chernobyl right away. I'm not going to explain what happens there, and however he gets them in another way. And they explore a little bit. See, it's so sad what really happened there. It's just complete desert and everything. I'll talk more about that, but and then their wires to their car are cut, and they are suddenly stranded there, and thus beginning the movie, the really good part of the movie, where they're stranded, and then something bad happens to one of the characters, and then you have your movie. And from then on, the story and how interested I was in it went up and down. I was interested when they got stranded. It got interesting. Then it went down a little bit, got a little slow. Then it got interesting again in another part, and then it really started to get a little bit slow in more parts, and then it got really good at the end. Anyway, to all you guys, all my younger viewers who may not know about Chernobyl, Chernobyl was, what happened at Chernobyl, I should say, back in April of 1986. There's a facility in Ukraine, known as Chernobyl, where nuclear reactor 4, I believe was the name. There was something went wrong. I forget what exactly they said in the movie, what happened to it, but there was an explosion emitting tons and tons of radiation. So the people in the area right near the Chernobyl facility in Pripyat, Pripyat is located right near Chernobyl. They had to evacuate. The people had to leave, or else they would have suffered the radiation. They would have just been, I don't know if it probably could have killed them, I'm not sure, and then it just ruined all their belongings, everything close to them. So that's why that big evacuation, people, like everyone, like animals, got affected by it, and they had to leave behind their belongings and everything, their houses in Pripyat, and that's what happened back in Chernobyl. So sad what happened there. That's not where the tourists are. Actually, they're not in Chernobyl, because if they explain this in the movie, which is something I enjoyed. Yuri says that if you go into Chernobyl, you will become massively affected by the radiation. Because there's still radiation, that's what he says in the movie. You have to wear radiation suits to gain entrance into Chernobyl, which is what they did in Transformers Dark Moon, which makes sense. As far you can get as far as you can. You cannot go further than Pripyat and get into Chernobyl, else you will be affected by the radiation. That's why they are in Pripyat for the beginning of the movie. But anyway, I thought the plot was really, really good. I'll talk more about it, like this, how if it was scary or anything like that, the story and everything. I will go more into that later. Anyway, as for the actors, I'm not even going to spend that long talking about it. The only known actor in this movie was Jesse McCartney, and I've only heard of him. I've seen pictures of him. That's really it. He really didn't show me much at all. None did any of the other actors, the characters in the movie. They really weren't special in any way. I really didn't think they were. I thought the character Yuri was interesting. You could tell he was hiding something in some parts, but he was interesting. He was an interesting character, but they really didn't show me much. Jesse McCartney really didn't. He wasn't. I can't say what happened to his character. I don't want to spoil anything, but it was interesting to see at least one person. But that's another thing that annoyed me. Kind of. I hate when I go into a horror movie and I don't know any actors that are on screen. Sometimes that really pisses me off, because I have no clue who's acting, and that. I don't know. I don't like that. So he was the only one I knew. Anyway, really quickly, I want to talk about the setting. The setting is in Pripyat, this deserted city. There's absolutely all the apartments where the people used to live in. It's all left in ruins, and you see their belongings, their charred belongings. You see dead things, like there's a dead fish in one part. You can tell it was affected by the radiation. The setting is great of this movie. It makes this movie more suspenseful, more scary, more interesting. And now I really want to learn more and more about Pripyat and Chernobyl. And it's just such an interesting setting. It's a scary setting. It's a good place to have a horror movie take place. And that's why one of the reasons why I really love this movie was the setting in Chernobyl. It was a perfect place for something scary to happen, because it was a deserted place. You would have no clue what was going on, no clue what was attacking you, or anything like that. That's why I really enjoyed the setting in this movie. Anyway, as for this rating of this movie, it's rated R. Kids younger than 13, 14, I don't think they should go see this movie. A couple parts might freak them out. It's rated R for language. Yes, there was some language in this, but I'm sure kids this day, 13, 14-year-old kids, I'm sure they're used to that stuff. Yeah, they're used to it, so they could go see this movie. But kids lower than that, kids lower than 12, 11, I do not suggest they go see this movie at all. Because there was a lot of blood there. I mean, actually, no, why did I just say there was a lot of blood? I meant to say there was some violence in some parts. There really wasn't too much blood. You did see characters, you did one part, you saw the insides of a character. That was kind of a little bit disturbing, but there could have been more blood. There could have been more, violence, but there really wasn't at all, really. That's something that the movie needed, but, it is rated R, and the rating's fair. Yeah, it should be rated R. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and give this movie its rating. Then I'm gonna give why I gave this movie the rating that I gave it, and the problems with this movie. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give Chernobyl Diaries an 8 out of 10. I thought this was a great horror movie. It wasn't one of the best horror movies. Was it another Halloween, like a movie as good as Halloween? No way. Not at all. Was it better than Paranormal Activity? No, not really. Paranormal Activity was a little bit better. Paranormal Activity is a little bit more scary, especially if it's the first time you're seeing Paranormal Activity. 10 times more scarier. But Chernobyl Diaries, it wasn't bad. I thought the story was really, really good. Like I said, I really enjoyed the setting. The setting really worked for me in this movie. And then the last thing that I really enjoyed, that really made this movie strong, was the ending. The ending ties everything up, makes you aware of why the characters are getting attacked, why everything is going on in the movie. I really loved the ending. I thought the ending was great. But the last scene of what happened to the main character or the characters, I can't say how many characters were left in the end or what. I don't want to spoil that. I knew that was coming. I knew that kind of annoyed me. But why everything was happening was a great part of the story. Anyway, the problems I have with this movie, I would say that I had about 3 or 4 problems with it. One was the story. It got very interesting in some parts. Then it started to get a little slow, and I was waiting for something to happen. I was like, all right, come on, I want something interesting to happen. Then it got really interesting, maybe a little bit slower. And then the ending, I thought, like, the last 30 minutes of the movie was interesting. Kind of kept me on the edge of my seat. I was waiting to find out what the hell was going on. How were these characters going to get out of the situation they were in? Thought that was great. Another thing, I did want a little bit more blood and gore. And that's just me. I'm that kind of person. I like lots of blood and gore in my horror movies. I think that makes the horror movies a lot more, interesting. I'm that kind of person. I'm not sick. No, I don't need a shrink or anything. No, I really like that in horror movies. I think that makes a horror movie a good movie. And yeah, this movie was scary. Some parts of it were scary. Silent House, no, that is a pathetic excuse for a horror movie. That's not even scary at all. It didn't even have a good story. Silent House, Cabin in the Woods, it was an original story, one of the best stories for a horror movie, but it was kind of boring. I don't know. I just expected more from that movie. But this one, it had a decent story. It had decent scares in it. I did think that this was scary. The other two, no, they really weren't that scary at all. There was one scene that really made me jump. This was the only scene that made me jump, and I didn't jump really much at all. This was the only scene that made me jump. There's this animal that's coming through in the apartment in the beginning of the movie, and I didn't expect this at all. It's just charging through the apartment. I don't want to say what it was. I don't want you guys to be surprised with what it was. But anyway, those are some of my main problems, and there's one other thing. The things that are attacking them, I don't want to say what it is. I wanted to see more of them. They really didn't get attacked enough, and then when characters did get attacked, they got attacked off camera. That annoyed me. I wanted to see them get attacked, get killed, get mauled apart, ripped apart, whatever, on camera. I like that stuff. I'm that kind of guy that enjoys that. But I didn't get that. The off-camera deaths kind of annoy me. But anyway, all in all, this movie was really good. Besides those minor problems, and then the camera guy, the director, oh wow, the filming, they really didn't. The camera was just all over the place. The camera work was really, really bad. It was shaking in some parts, and I was like, wow, this guy doesn't know how to hold a camera. Just hold it right. That annoyed me. I wanted to scream that out at him in the beginning of the movie. It wasn't that bad in the end. The beginning, yes, it annoyed me. And speaking of the camera, this was not a found footage movie like Paranormal Activity, like Quarantine, like Cloverfield. I heard was a found footage movie, even though I never saw Cloverfield. This was not a found footage movie at all. I just wanted to point that out there. But anyway, guys, 8 out of 10 is a pretty damn good rating for a horror movie. I do suggest you see Chernobyl Diaries. You guys may have different thoughts about it. I thought it was great. What really won me over, like I said, was the setting and the ending. I really enjoyed this ending of the movie. Thought it was great. However, I wanted to see more on-screen depths. I like that kind of stuff, and I wanted to see a bit more interesting parts of the story. Little parts need to be good. I mean, yeah, there were some suspenseful parts. Yes, there were. I will admit that. But some parts really should have been done better. Some parts I thought were really great. All in all, you guys will have an enjoyable time at the movies. I said 7.5 or an 8 is my final rating for Chernobyl Diaries. And what I really want to go look more about Chernobyl, the site of Chernobyl. It was an interesting story. I enjoyed it, and the radiation things they were using to to know the amounts of radiation, the levels of radiation. I thought those were really kind of cool too. And I thought it was a good horror movie. It was a good way to start Memorial Day weekend for me. So yeah, guys, go to the movies this weekend. See this, see Battleship, see Avengers. You gotta see Avengers this weekend if you haven't. But anyway, guys. all in all, Chernobyl Diaries, good movie. I might buy it on Blu-ray. I thought it was worthy for a Blu-ray. I hope you guys enjoyed this movie review. Stay tuned for my Battleship review coming soon, guys. Bye.